Hey, I'm Amy Feller, also known as the Roofer Chick, and welcome to another Tailgate Talk. Today we're here to talk about how to understand your insurance paperwork. It can be mind-boggling, especially if it's the first time you've been dealing with it. I remember the first time I was dealing with it and I was completely lost. My brother had to tell me what I was looking at. But now we've gotten quite good at it, obviously, because that's what we do. When your roofer or whatever contractor you're using to do your insurance work wants to look at your insurance paperwork, what they are looking for, it has a couple different names and I probably don't have all of them. I kind of blanked out, but I call it a loss summary more often than not. Today we're going to be going through a USAA claim in detail, and they call it a property claims settlement. A lot of people try and give me the piece of paper that comes with it when they get their check, and it's only one page, and that's not what they need. It should come with your check usually, but some insurance companies send the check and then your actual loss summary won't come until a few days after that. But what the contractor needs is that loss summary. They're usually, unless you have a big tornado claim, it could be all the way up to like 30 pages. But usually for a standard hail roofing claim, they're, I would say, 4 to 8 pages. And we'll just walk through it. A lot of times they come with a cover letter from the company saying this is your policy, this is your information. The contractor doesn't really need to see that. What they need to see one of the most important pages is this, I call it the cover page. And we're going to walk through there. They have on here who did the adjustment. So this is USAA, but it was actually done by, they use a third party called AllCat that does all of their claims. At least most of their claims anyway. And then it has the insured, the property that the loss summary is for, and then if they have another address that's their main address, like it's a rental property, they'll also list that. They list the customer's contact information and email, and then they generally have the adjuster information. It can either be the adjuster information, it's whoever wrote the estimate. If I write one, I put my information in here. It can be the desk adjuster and not the field adjuster who came out, and generally it's supposed to have also how to contact them. And then USAA is different than all the other insurance companies. They have a member number instead of a claim number. They don't actually have a claim number, but I think they're the only ones that don't. Most insurance companies, it would show a claim number there and then policy number. And for USAA, those two numbers match, or pretty much match. With most policies, they don't match at all. They're completely different numbers. And then what kind of loss, what caused the damage, wind, hail, water, whatever it may be. And then they have all these dates. That's supposed to be what day, the date of loss. Sometimes they might ask you what the date of loss is when you call in your claim. They want to know what date this happened. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. If you're working with a roofer, ask them. If they know, generally we do. Or if you don't know, just tell them you don't know. Say you were gone the whole month of May and all your neighbors got hailed on and you weren't home, whatever it is. The adjuster will usually assign that date ultimately. And then the date they came out and all that. The dates shouldn't so much matter to you. Then they also list a price list. Especially if you got your claim like a year ago and you're just doing the work a year later, your contractor might ask them for an updated price list because it changes quite a bit, especially after a major storm. So on this one, they were using the May of 2019 price list. There's actually a July of 2019 price list that the contractor could ask for, because when I'm making this video, it's August. So, and then the summary for your dwelling. And to me, this is the most important thing for the homeowner to understand, and this is generally what is super confusing. But once you understand it, it actually makes a lot of sense. So the first line item on this report is $11,207.92, and that's the total claim amount, but then they add the tax for the materials. That's in Texas. Other states tax the labor. In Texas, generally, we just tax the materials. So then that gives you the replacement cost value. So the total for the claim with tax is $11,495.82. Our policy at Feller Roofing is that we match that amount. So that is what we would write on the contract, as long as you wanted us to do all the work that is listed in this loss summary. And maybe you don't, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But if you did, if we're doing all the work, we would list that. Then they're going to back out what's called depreciation, and that's where it gets confusing. So USAA backed out the depreciation for this project is $5,969.02. So what depreciation is that leaves you, let me go one step further, that leaves you the actual cash value of your roof, which is $5,526.80. So they are saying that is what your roof is worth today. I always get confused myself here, so I have to think through it, with as far gone as your roof is. So let's say you've got a 20-year shingle on your roof and you installed your roof. I want to do easy math here. So you installed your roof 5 years ago. So you have used 5 years out of 20. If I got this right, that is your actual cash value. And that's what they would pay you then. Now don't worry, because you have a replacement cost value policy, hopefully, so they're going to cover the whole thing. But right now they're just giving you the actual cash value for the roof, because they want to make sure that you do the work. This came about because a long time ago, or maybe still today, they used to pay it in full and people would take the check and run and never do the work. And then they had troubles with their mortgage, and then the mortgage company was left in foreclosure holding a property that hadn't gotten updated according to what it was supposed to be, and the insurance company was out the money, but it was never used for what it was intended for. So this is their way to protect themselves and the mortgage company, to make sure that the work gets done and that they're paying for it. So they give you the actual cash value, and then they're going to back out your deductible. Your deductible is the portion that you're responsible for. I tell people it's kind of like when you go to the doctor and you have a copay. This is your part. So their deductible is $4,270, which means they probably have a pretty nice house, or they have a high deductible. Usually deductibles right now are 1% of your property value. So if your house is worth $300,000, your deductible would be $3,000. So if this is a 1% policy, their house is valued at $427,000. So pretty nice house here. And then, so then that is your net claim. So you get a check for this amount, which is $1,256.80. So when they hand you this check, you feel like you got ripped off, because you need an $11,000 roof and you got a $1,200 check. Well, don't fret, because you will get, when you get the project done, they will give you the depreciation back. So here's the total amount of depreciation. Again, they brought it down. It's the same line down here. It's the $5,969.02. So at the end, the total amount the insurance company will pay you is $7,225.82. If you add your deductible to that, then you're going to come out with the total amount of the claim. So basically the insurance is paying $7,200 and your portion is almost $4,300, and the contractor gets all of that to get the total replacement cost value of your roof. Hopefully that makes it a little bit clearer. It's a lot of numbers and it's a lot of math. Then after that page, well, I'm going to skip this page because it doesn't really tell me anything. It's telling me how the tax was calculated. Then this is the other page that a roofer is super interested in, because here is the line by line item of what your insurance is covering. And this is what your contractor can dispute if they forgot something or left something off. So we'll just run through this one real quick. They're paying to remove 29 squares, which is roofer talk, of 25-year shingles, and then they're adding waste, so they're going to put back 34 squares, and that number is really important to your roofer to know how big your roof is. That 34 square is the number they're looking for, not the 29. They added a little bit there because it's 2 stories or more. They put it on 2 different lines because one's for the removal of the shingles and one's for putting the new shingles back. It's also a steep roof, so there's an additional charge for that section of the roof that's super steep for tearing it off and for putting it back. They covered the drip edge to replace it and to paint that drip edge because it was painted drip edge. They covered the valley metal, they covered the pipe jacks, and they covered painting the pipe jacks because they must be painted. So as a roofer, I would look at the roof and make sure there's no chimney flashing on here. So do they have a chimney? And that is something the roofer, a good roofer, should be able to follow up with your insurance company and get that added. That's our process, what we do. And we have access to the same software that they use. These are done through Xactimate, which probably 90% of insurance companies use Xactimate, and it has all the pricing pre-established. It's not something that the insurance company decides. They just decide what line items they're going to put in there, but the pricing is in the system, done by Xactimate. So the total for the roof, just the roof, this you can follow it down. The RCV column is the replacement cost value. It's $10,536.43. The depreciation that they're holding back until the work is done is $5,732.29. And so the actual cash value of the roof right now is $4,804.14. So that's the roof, which is the bulk of the claim. But they also have some things on the claim that aren't the roof. So on the next page, they've got on the front elevation. The elevations are all if you're standing on the street looking at your house from the street. So the front elevation, they're going to replace one screen. The right side of the house, they're going to replace the screen. The left side of the house needs a siding repair. Looks like vinyl siding, lovely stuff. And then they added debris removal for one truck of removing debris. And see, now I'm doing my roofer stuff. Usually in roofing, the haul off is included in the line item. So that must be for the siding work. And it'll say, if they're not including the haul off, it'll say in the line item, blah, blah, blah. I'm probably getting too technical for y'all. But, so there's the hauling off of the debris. Then there's things called labor minimums, because nobody's going to come out and do that siding work for, how much money did they put on it? They put $144, and nobody's going to come do your siding for $144, so they're adding another $177. So now you have, what, $320 to pay your siding guy, which is much more reasonable. And that window labor minimum is for the screen guy. So I always tell customers, if you want to try and save some money and you want to do this work yourself, or not do it at all because they didn't hold any depreciation back on it, so the money's yours. That's one way to put a little bit of money back in your pocket. Or if you want us to do it, we'll do it however you want to do it. So that is the summary of how to read. Let me see here. See, I don't even look at these other pages. There might be a sketch on the back of the roof. This one doesn't have it. The roofer, if there is a sketch, that's awesome for the roofer, because then we can tell better how to order materials. There's a page where they recap it by room, another one where they recap it by trade. That doesn't really mean much to me usually, and that is how to read your insurance report. And if you want to call us, we'd be more than happy to walk you through it, especially if it's your first time looking at one. Thanks for joining us today.